Hello, my name is Aaron, and I've watched entirely too much Star Trek.
And my name is Clara, and I've watched none.
These are the voyages of the Friendship Enterprise.
Its continuing mission to boldly go where I've never gone before.
Has this ever happened to you?
What?
You were going to a planet, and they sent you a coded message that is the intergalactic code for stay away. But
Constantly.
you had a big old butthole with you.
Constantly.
Who made you go anyway?
Constantly.
Yeah.
That happens to me almost constantly.
Yeah.
Getting messages that say stay away.
I get those messages a lot, too.
From friends.
It's hard to believe that people would tell me to stay away.
And loved ones.
Friends, loved ones.
Stay away.
Lovers. Enemies.
Hello, friends
Countrymen.
and enemies.
I don't know what's the rest of them.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, all
Lovers.
of them
I think he
tell
says
me to stay
lovers.
away. Yeah. So I get it.
Yeah.
I empathize.
I just want to know where they get those cool hats.
Okay, what hats?
The guards wearing. Taste of Maria.
Here's the thing, Aaron.
Yeah.
I fell asleep during this episode.
Bro, you can't say that in the opening of the podcast.
Yes, I can.
Our audience of 2 people will stop listening immediately.
This is my true honest reaction.
People
to
don't
Star
want
Trek.
honesty.
Well, my true
They want
honest
lies.
reaction to Star Trek was this episode put me to sleep.
You don't like...
It's also been a while since I watched it,
Mm.
folks. And because it put me to sleep, I wasn't super keen on a rewatch.
That's fair. But what if you needed to sleep?
What do you mean?
Like, what if you were having trouble sleeping?
I would just go to sleep. I wouldn't put on a bad episode.
But what
of
if you,
Star Trek.
were having trouble sleeping? That's what I'm saying. You couldn't fall asleep.
I wouldn't watch TV.
What'd you do?
I don't do anything. If I can't fall asleep, other than get really mad, I don't do anything. I won't look at my phone. I won't get up and read. I definitely won't watch TV. I usually just lay there and stew like a badger in a hole until I fall asleep. And then in hindsight, I was like, oh, maybe I should have just gotten up and read a little bit.
Yeah.
Like from a book, not off my phone.
Yeah, don't read off your phone.
I definitely won't. If I can't sleep, I definitely won't look at my phone.
No, then you're done.
So, right, if I'm not going to look at my phone, I'm not going to turn on a TV. Because that means I have to get up out of bed, too. I don't have a TV in my bedroom.
Sure. Yeah,
right.
Either,
so.
Not going to watch on your phone screen?
No, I won't look at my phone. No, I usually fall asleep very quickly.
Yeah.
Hence why I fell asleep during the Star Trek episode. I fall asleep incredibly quickly.
Well, hold on a minute. You were not kept awake and scintillated by people reporting to the disintegration station?
No, we can talk about that. We can talk about how that wasn't scintillating for me.
You weren't scintillated by the computer simulated war?
No.
Or the...
Ugliest man in the world.
Wow, wait, who's the ugliest?
The ambassador guy
Oh,
is the
him,
ugliest,
yeah.
single ugliest man I've ever seen on television.
Yeah, he was also very young. Like, he's in his 40s, which is...
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, he did die later, so...
Well, everyone dies later.
No, but, not that long.
You can say she's in her 30s. She did die later. I could still be 90, 90,
Yeah, but you
50,
don't look
whatever.
like you're 75.
No, this guy was ugly as hell.
Well, he probably, you know what his mistake was? He probably didn't sleep and looked at his phone. That's why he had those huge eye bags.
Yes, and he didn't know to put this episode on to make me fall
Yeah,
asleep.
that's true.
But back to my original point. If I don't fall asleep in 10 minutes, I get really mad. Because I typically fall asleep incredibly quickly.
Do you get mad enough to launch a fake computer simulated assault on your rivals?
Yeah, my rival being Awakeness.
You've been battling for 500 years. You don't even know why.
Aaron, you're dropping a lot of little crumbs about this episode.
Try to keep us on.
Yeah,
Side.
no witty banter to start off.
I thought we were being funny. You were talking about your sleeps.
You lost
and the world's ugliest. Well, no, I didn't. I asked if this had ever happened to you. This hypothetical situation that happens to me all the time.
This hypothetical situation that has nothing to do with
the episode at all. No. Bastard Fox is just out there swiping right on everybody.
What do you do if you can't sleep?
I usually sulk for a while. And then I will get up and read.
That's fair.
Because I will not sit there and do nothing when I can't sleep.
That's fair. I think it's very different, too, when you have a partner.
Sure, you kick him and stuff and wake him up.
Yeah, I just kick Joe, because if I'm awake, I want
you should also be awake.
You can't sleep if I'm not asleep. Right, but it's different, because if I get up, if I, want to stay in bed and read.
Oh, no, I actually get up.
I have to turn a light on, but I don't want to usually get out of bed, because then, he would notice and be like, where is my wife? So it does complicate things. But yeah, usually I just lay in bed.
Well, that's why Lucy and Ricky slept in separate beds.
Because one of them couldn't sleep?
Yeah, it was Lucy.
That doesn't surprise
Serial
me.
non-sleeper.
That doesn't surprise me.
Well, he was worn out from bongo drumming all the time.
You're right. And
she went right to sleep.
He just was always on the move.
Yeah.
And now we're back to Star Trek. You see that?
Look, did you see that was a beautiful segue, courtesy of me?
Yeah, I feel like you just sheepdogged me right back to the episode.
And yet people are always telling you to stay away.
Boy. Bah, bah. I'm in my little corral. Okay, are you happy?
No, are you doing this episode?
Are you happy now?
I'm always happy when
I'm in her corral. Bah, bah, bah. I'll just make sheep noises the rest of this episode.
You could. I mean, these people are kind of sheeps.
These people are 100% sheeps.
Sheeples.
So, Aaron, tell us about the episode. Tell us a recap.
A taste of Armageddon.
Just a taste.
Well, it's like...
Just a tipple.
It's like Smokey Robinson said. A taste of Armageddon is better than none at all. So.
Oh, why did he say that?
Well, he said a taste of honey is better than none.
Sure.
The synopsis here is actually kind of thin, but... so the episode itself, this aired on the February 23rd of 1967. It is the 23rd episode, production number 23. So it actually matches this time.
Okay. We're getting closer to the moon.
We are. Teleplay is by Robert Hamner and Gene L. Kuhn.
Sure.
The Enterprise is en route to Star Cluster NGC 321 to open diplomatic relations with the civilization there. After several unacknowledged overtures, a message comes from the planet. MNR7. The code 710 goes out. It says, stay away at all costs. That's what I was talking about. People are saying the code 710. Ambassador Robert Fox overrides Kirk's wish to honor the request and forcibly orders him to take the Enterprise into the system. Kirk orders that the Enterprise go to yellow alert and that an intercom message to the crew of his ship. Kirk announces, we're going in, gentlemen. Peacefully, I hope. But peacefully or not, we're going in.
What a quote.
And that's how it kicks off. There is a much longer summary that's broken down by different acts, but I'm not going to read it. It's a lot to read.
I'll add to the summary of the episode because we're not trying to, hide anything.
Yeah.
They get there, and this planet is engaged in a
500-year
war with
another planet.
And the war is completely connected by computer simulation, and when the computer tells people that they have been killed by a bombing or some sort of war collateral whatever, they report to disintegrators and get disintegrated.
And then
so
proof is sent to their enemies,
Correct. So there's no actual fighting.
Yeah.
It's just some computers running simulations and deciding how many people are dying with each simulated hit.
It's like Battleship, but with high stakes.
Basically. So
Vendikar.
So that's what happens in this episode. And
at what point did you fall asleep?
I fell asleep after they keep the woman with the really sexy rap.
Oh yeah.
From going in the disintegrator, and then I kind of drifted off, and I don't really remember how the episode resolved.
Well, I'm pulling the weight here, huh?
Yeah, I'm really sorry, but like I said, I wasn't gonna go back and watch an episode that put me to sleep. Me, a person who rarely falls asleep during TV or movies.
Wow.
I was probably very sleepy, but I just didn't. Here's the thing.
You don't have to justify it.
No, I will justify it. I will justify it.
Okay.
A bad podcast co-host who says she fell asleep during an episode. But again, I'm trying to get.
That's the show, folks. That's all we got.
That's all we got.
Porky pig.
Play us off. That's all, folks. But I'm trying to give you my true and honest reactions to Star Trek, and this episode just didn't do it for me. I thought it was really boring. I thought that it just could have been like a 20-minute episode, and it did not need to last almost a full 50. Was my biggest sort of gripe. Like, it basically just felt like them trying to stop people from going in the disintegrators.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
And also, like, not get got by the computer simulating
this
war machine. Yeah. And it was just boring.
You were bored.
I was bored.
You were not compelled.
I was not compelled to stay away.
If you'd been given the choice, you can watch the rest of the episode and getting in the disintegrator.
I would watch the rest of the episode, but I'd have to think about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
The most interesting thing was this ugly man with his giant eye bags, and how did he get there?
Yeah, I mean, I thought what's her face in the rap was interesting. But at this point, I'm just doing it. Wow. It's expected.
Yeah, because every single woman in this show is a fucking hottie.
I thought the yeoman was a hottie. Tamura? She's like one of the random crew that goes down.
Remind me.
Red dress. Well, red uniform skirt. She goes down with them at the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's with them the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Of course she is.
I know. They're all hot.
Every woman on this show is super hot. And then we get the ugliest man alive. Where's my eye candy, Gino Roddenberry?
You don't love a man with the biggest eye bags in the history of the world.
Oh, yeah.
Just think what a man with eye bags like that could do. He could
slap me with his eye bag.
I was going to say squint really, really, really close.
Yuck.
Yeah. I mean, I have some thoughts about the episode.
I mean, I have some thoughts, but I was bored by it.
Okay.
I have some thoughts, but, like, I'm just saying, don't ask me a lot of plot questions, because truly, other than them, like, going down, getting put in sort of a little jail.
There's, like, not a ton of plot, honestly.
Having to sneak out, and then trying to destroy the disintegrator. Like...
They do destroy the disintegrator.
I said having to.
I thought you said trying.
No. They snuck out.
Yes, they did.
Oh, maybe I said having to sneak out and then trying to. Anyway.
Either way.
Yeah. Not for me. But I have some thoughts.
I do too. I agree it's a slow mover. I actually think it's interesting in terms of what it's trying to do.
Wow, what a Nick. I actually think it's interesting. I didn't say I didn't think it was interesting.
You fell asleep, homie.
Just because I'm bored doesn't mean it's not interesting. It just means it's slow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was trying to do some interesting things, but I think it did them in a very boring fashion.
That's fair.
Anyway, tell me what you think it was trying to do.
Okay.
What you actually thought was interesting.
I'm going to eye bag at you.
Yeah, when Aaron gets mad at me, he's gonna flap his eye bags.
My eye bags.
Oh, run. You won't have a podcast co-host.
I think this was interesting following the Archon's episode.
Okay, yeah.
Where you had like the Red Hour and this big focus on individualism over the greater good or whatever it was that they were positioning.
Individualism over the collective mind, I would say. The hive mind. Sort of a hive mind.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. There's sure. We'll go with hive mind. So this is another really Cold War episode. Yep. But it's a different take on the Cold War than that one, is why I bring it up. Because in that one, right, like Kirk is very much like Mr. Representative of like American ideals. Like, he goes there and frees all these people from the computer god and they become free, and they can have a red hour whenever they want.
Whenever they want.
They can bump uglies in the street and whatever else they were doing. So they don't have to wear country clothes anymore.
Whenever they want.
Whenever they want. They don't have to wait for the clock to chime
Yikes.
for the red hour.
Perhaps sounds worse, but go on. That's the American way, is what Aaron is implying.
Have you seen America lately?
Yeah, that's true.
In this one, I think the Federation is much less sympathetically or positively shown, with Ambassador Fox being sort of the representative.
Oh, yes.
So, like, importantly, I think this is the first time you get the full name of the Federation. It's described as the United Federation of Planets, which I think is the first time the full name is mentioned in the show.
I think so.
And here we have, like, Ambassador Fox, it's like a much more, like, imposition. Like, Kirk comes to, like, free these people, and they ostensibly want to be freed. This one, they tell them to stay away, and Ambassador Fox is like, no, we're going in.
Correct.
Ignore that. We know it's best.
Correct.
We need a port treaty because it's in our interest. So it's a very much, like, imperialist kind of situation here. So, like, in the Archons, it was like the core value was like individualism. And in this one, it's more like, basically just like imperial power. Like, there's that line where, like, they get the message to stay away, and Fox just says, like, you'll disregard that. And then Kirk says it is their planet. And he still, like, doesn't. So, like, Kirk is kind of operating in between. Like, we're supposed to sympathize with him and see Ambassador Fox as, like, a huge dick.
Yes.
Which there's a long tradition of this in Star Trek, so just, like, be ready for that. Like, when the Ambassador shows up, usually they're being an asshole about something.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. But right, like the Federation's needs take precedence here. Like, it's not about, like, helping these people. It's about, like, because I guess they've been, like, people being killed. The backstory for all this is
a
a
little
unclear.
unclear as to, like, why.
I guess because they're getting caught in this war. Is that the suggestion? That, like, they come out here and then, like, they become casualties? And
I assume so.
Yeah, it's never said explicitly, I don't think, but that's kind of what's going on. So that, I'm interested by, just, like, the less idealistic portrait of, like, what they're doing, because I think we talked way back in one of the earlier episodes about how it's like a space western. And here I think we are seeing that, but we're seeing the flip side of it. In terms of, like, it's not as positive, like, it's not the adventure side of it, right? Like, this is, like, we're seeing the sort of, like, ugly side of it.
Right.
And Gene Kuhn, who wrote this episode, wrote Arena, interestingly enough, and he wrote a bunch of other episodes, so he's going to come up again and again. But I think there's an interesting parallel with Arena, too, where, like, remember the Gorn, like, ultimately were sympathetic at the end, like, because I think McCoy is the one who says, like, maybe there's a reason why they're behaving this way, right? I think it's McCoy. And in that one, like, the Gorn are kind of positioned.
That one, McCoy. So smart.
I mean, the Gorn are kind of, like, put in the place of, like, the Native American in, like, the American West, right? Like, he is coded as being more primitive. Kirk defeats him with technology because he invents, like, he gets the gunpowder equivalent at the end when he blows the rock gun at him or whatever. So I think I guess, like, thinking about the long arc of this, like, the episodes that Kuhn is writing have a much more, I wouldn't say, like, cynical, but a much more ambiguous view of, like, what it means to go out into space and, like, encounter these alien civilizations. And we're also seeing more aliens now.
Yes.
Than we were before. Like, at the beginning of the show, remember, it was a lot of times it was just, like, an empty planet.
Correct.
And now we're seeing...
Or, like, one alien.
Yeah. Or, like, other humans.
Or, like, one alien on the Enterprise, or, like...
Yeah. Or other humans. Yeah. Whereas here, we're starting to see more, like, actual aliens that they're going out and telling them what to do. Bossing them around a little bit. So that interests me. I agree the episode's slow. Yeah. I think the, like, central conceit, it's hard to get on board with, like, that these people just willingly, like, go die by the millions in these disintegration chambers.
Correct, right? And, like, it's interesting for me. The interesting thing was, like, the concept of a computer war. So, like, thinking of it also...
Like that Matthew Broderick movie, War Games.
Yes, just like that. That's exactly my frame of reference for this. But, like, computer technology would have been so new, and again, similar to, like,
but...
the arc Archon's episode where like there's like a computer controlling
God,
everything.
yeah.
So we kind of have that same sort of like
it's
concept here.
different though,
it's
right?
different.
Because in that one it's like mystified almost, right? Because it's like a god.
Yes.
Whereas here it's like we've just handed all this over to the computer, like everything. Yeah, we are just going to rely on this machine to handle all the stuff for us.
But it's interesting. I think this and the Archons are both interesting in terms of like in 1967 where they thought computers could
like
go,
what they
right?
were gonna do.
And that they were like, this is definitely the future of computers. But like the fact that they were even like, well, like computers could do this.
Yeah.
And the fact that like we're at a point now in 2025 when like this is the kind of the reality.
When Terminator is becoming real,
But also just like the fact that, this within the context of the Cold War was like 500, this is a war that's been going on for 500 years, controlled by computers. It's like, okay, how are we not supposed to read that as
it's definitely
right, like Cold War coded.
And the whole thing about like the war that isn't really felt, right? Because they talk about how like no cities are destroyed, our cultures are preserved.
Correct.
So it definitely fits with the Cold War allegory,
right? In a different way
mutually assured destruction,
correct,
and all that stuff, right?
In a different way than the Archons, right? Which is very much like here comes
it's like a place
state,
right, to liberate,
like, right? Which feels, I guess, more like more of like a microcosm, right, of like the Cold War, and this feels much more like big. A macro, like view of it, right? So it is really like it's trying to do an interesting thing, I think, and like ask maybe an interesting question about right, like the future of warfare when like computation becomes like powerful. But I just think, right, like the premise is kind of weak, and it just felt like we didn't need 50 minutes to get through all of this. Because, right, like you said, like, can we really get behind all of these people just be like, yeah, I'll walk into the disintegrator because the computer told me to? And I forget, do we learn like what happens if they don't? They're basically just
they have to.
They like
because
come and like forcibly
if they don't,
them, right?
if they don't get enough numbers, then it ends this treaty and the war becomes real.
That's right.
I mean, I think partly what's hindering the episode is I think in a lot of ways this is directly commenting on Vietnam. Specifically, this idea, right, that you can sanitize war by having it be distant. So like the Cold War is defined by a lot of these proxy conflicts. In Vietnam, a big part of sort of the reporting on it and the reporting out from the government, particularly in the 60s, was an obsession with body counts. And, we're killing more of them than they are of us. And this seems to be very much pointing to that. I forget where it was I read it. It was one that somewhere in my reading for the episode, I was looking at different stuff for the episode, and there was a book that studied like the Vietnam War as represented on TV during the time it was actually happening, and very few television shows made any kind of overt criticism of the war. So I think part of it is they feel like they have to mask the criticism pretty heavily. So I think that takes some of the edge off of what could be an interesting episode. But I think there is an effort to critique sort of the like obsessive body count, and also like the techno aspect of the Vietnam War, where it was like you could count, because like McNamara's whole thing was like you could calculate, and you could like logically deduce a way to win the war through basically like numbers, like to put it very simply. But like he comes to the government from Ford, and he was this like big numbers cruncher guy, and he was supposed to bring that kind of efficiency of like the bureaucracy to war fighting. And I think that's also what this is really directly pointing at. And also how that like makes people behave like machines. Maybe that's where the like willingness to go through, just to march into the disruptor or disintegrator thing maybe fits in, is that like people similar to in Archons don't like really have a free thought in their heads. Like they become kind of automated, or I don't know. Because is it Maya? What's her name? The
I
woman?
forget.
I mean, she's kind of robotic.
Yes. I mean, yeah.
And they all
she's,
kind
like,
of are, except for the head guy. He gets a little more emotive, I guess.
But she's like one of the only, I would say, probably one of the only ladies that Kirk has interacted with who hasn't like swooned immediately.
There
Respect.
must be something wrong with it.
So he doesn't like her outfit. He doesn't like
It's
the drapes.
insane. It's insane.
Yeah, Aaron prefers Andrea.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
And her, like...
Well, it's more that she's just my dark hair,
Aaron's
like,
type.
I'm sorry, what? What do you want me to
doesn't
say?
like a blonde.
That's not true, but, you know.
Well, I prefer what's her name and her drapes. I think it's a much more beautiful
this one?
and elegant. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, anything's more beautiful than the weird onesie thing.
Aaron doesn't care about the weird onesie. Anyway, yeah, she definitely is like...
I mean, they're all kind of robotic.
Yeah.
Because, like, you have this council of people who are...
Right.
Going through the motions or whatever, but so maybe that's kind of why they... I don't know. I agree that the episode is slow moving, and it doesn't quite land for me, but I appreciate the effort in terms of... Yeah, trying to critique not just the Cold War, but more specifically, like, what was happening in Vietnam at this point. And we're still pre-Tet, so, like, there wasn't sort of an anti-war consensus yet. That's not to say there weren't people who were anti-war, but it had not reached the levels it was going to reach in '68, and then, of course, into Nixon's tenure. But yeah, I mean, I think there's something interesting, too, about just it's like partly mutually assured destruction, too. It's like, well, we can live with this weird status quo if because the alternative is worse, right? So there's that angle to it as well. I think my issue with it is they made the alternative war like too intense that people are actually like dying. Like I'm not. I mean, I guess I get why they're doing it, because I still think it is this kind of like Vietnam,
right? But it's like they're trying to but they're like trying to critique Vietnam, but then they're also like wrapping it in a weird package of like, well, all these people have to die by disintegrator, but you can keep all your buildings and all your cultural institutions, or we'll blow you to smithereens. And it's like, those aren't great options, right? At least during the Cold War, like, it was mutually assured destruction, but as far as the, Soviet Union and the US were concerned, like, they were both pretty happily sitting,
I mean, certainly at this point, both
staring at each other. So, like, like, it wasn't like for them the alternative was, well, some people are still dying. I mean, people were, right? You had Vietnam, you had Korea,
it was overseas, right? That's the thing. Like, the closest analog for our generation would be like the War on Terror, right? Which is like, we were at war for 25 years, but like, we didn't really feel it in the same way.
Right, because it's not on your soil. Right,
and there wasn't like ration. That's the other thing. Like, the people who are watching this, who are older, would have remembered rationing and, so it was a very different experience
rationing
between World War II and even Korea. Like, they're still rationing certain things like gasoline and food. And, I mean, they made like pennies out of like zinc, I think, at one point during World War II because they had copper for military. So like, so that's part of it, I think, is this idea, right, that this war, like,
the only way you feel the war is if you get called to the disintegrator.
If you actually get drafted.
But it's just like it is a weird, right? Like, because it's not just, it's like any civilian.
Right. Which I guess, I guess it ratchets up the stakes of like a conscription-based army potentially, but.
Right, but you wouldn't have hotties like Blondie and her drapes.
Hot Lips went to Korea.
Fair enough. That's why she wasn't on the show anymore.
That's right.
She went to go fight in the Korean War.
For 12 years on MASH.
On MASH.
I mean, there was too, like, the guns and butter thing, which is like the old economic problem of like, if you're at war, you can either choose between guns or food, and like the Johnson administration 100% tried to thread that, because like the Great Society was programming was going on too, and like the war definitely And the Cold War, too.
Can we pause a second?
Yeah.
Hey, listener. Can you tell that Aaron wrote his doctoral thesis about this shit?
I didn't.
Or whatever.
I didn't.
You're like, this is like part of your area of study, though.
A little bit, yeah.
And I didn't, because I'm just smiling at saying,
Drinking wine.
Sure. I know what the Tet Offensive is, but don't ask me any questions about it. But no, like I said, I'm not a complete dummy.
I didn't say you were.
I'm saying that to the listener. I'm not a complete dummy. I like felt what it was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted I wanted it differently, and like I said, it just didn't feel exciting.
Yeah, I think the stakes don't. There's something missing from it. I think it is a reluctance to be too explicit about what's happening.
Sure.
Ultimately. But I do like that it's, again, like problematizing the Federation, which is fun, which is something that will come up again in the show.
So is that why they made that guy so ugly?
I don't think that's why he's ugly. But
they were like,
definitely why he's the mouthpiece of like.
We need the ugliest man alive to be the Federation's mouthpiece, so that people hate him, not just for his rancid views, but also for his eye bags.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't work entirely. I like the ambition.
Fair enough.
I think it's trying to do something interesting. I think it doesn't always work. I think it's less engaging than Archon's, but
100%.
I think in some ways, I think the critique is more interesting.
I guess that's the biggest. If I had to sum up my big quibble, is it was not engaging.
Yeah, I think the critique is more interesting ultimately.
Yeah,
but it's a lot more to get there.
Yeah.
I realized we skipped the New York Times.
Oh, we didn't we?
But I looked at it ahead of time, and it was a lot of Vietnam news.
Well, pertinent.
Yeah. I even scrolled through multiple pages at the Times this time to see if there was any space news for you, but there was no space news.
Somebody get going. Get moving on space.
Do you want me to pull it up?
Yeah,
we're doing this out of order, but I guess
it
doesn't fucking matter. Nobody cares.
Our two listeners might. They
two lovely listeners. I wonder if they have drapes. I wonder if they wear drapes. Do you wear wigs? Will you wear wigs? Will you wear drapes?
I don't know why I was so against wearing wigs.
Alright, so let's see. February 23rd, 1967. What was crazy is, as I was looking through this, there was an ad for the car that my dad still has. It was his first car as a teenager growing up.
Wow, your dad still has it?
Yeah, it doesn't run based on that.
I mean, that's still pretty cool, though.
All right.
What kind of car was it?
67 Firebird.
Ooh.
First model year, yeah.
Wow.
It was my grandfather's before it because my granddad worked at GM, so he always got
like the best.
He would get new cars pretty free.
Sure.
Okay, so news. So there is some discussion about talks for a possible peace plan. So there actually were talks for a possible peace plan at this time that the Nixon administration, or an incoming Nixon administration, actually sabotaged. Yeah, which is a whole thing we won't get into. But so there was a possibility that there could have been a peace plan at this point.
Classic Nixon.
Did want to end the war. There was a night attack, mortar attack near the Cambodia border.
KNIGHT joust. A little joust attack.
Yes. Enemy mortar. First heavy casualties on American company last night. So that was pretty bad, apparently. Jakarta, Indonesia, Sukarno is handing authority to Suharto. So that's going to escalate into a whole bunch of bullshit down the road with Henry Kissinger, our best friend.
Oh, wow. What a good guy.
Real piece of shit. Yeah, there's a strike at GM.
Oh, your grandpa?
Probably not. He was
a scab.
No, but he was like a floor manager, like safety manager, so not the good one strike. Let's see. Armies. Some sort of Chinese army are fighting with Mao. I don't know. There's something going on there. It's too in depth for me to get into. They found the first known white gorilla, and all Christians get an appeal from the Pope.
About what?
He said that they should all do the missionary position. And that's it. That's all they're allowed to do. No, I don't know. Hold special observances for 2 apostles, Peter and Paul's martyrdom, 19th centuries ago.
Oh, 1967? That would have been the Cultural Revolution in China.
Well, I know. I don't want to get into
But you don't
the
want to
whole...
get into
No,
what
it's like too
is
many...
happening.
Like there's
Well,
some sort of
this-
Maoists are being fighting with... Yeah, there's like some sort of struggle going on there.
There were power seizures in 1967.
Yeah, it was a fucking
So
mess.
that's probably what was happening.
Probably.
Well, yeah, it was a mess, but what I'm saying is it started in 1966. It lasted for like a decade, but in 67, they actually ceased power.
Yeah. There you go. So you know things.
Yeah, I know about the Chinese Cultural Revolution.
It's because you were there.
I was there, yeah, in a past life. I was
I'll make a man out of you.
I was living in Beijing in 1967.
Is it still Peking then? Why did they
believe
change the
so.
name?
I
Okay.
think it was Beijing.
And there's Russians can see that there's a missile net flaw in their defensive system. So there's some typical Cold War stuff, but
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so no space, but
No.
Vietnam, which is more pertinent to this episode than space.
That's true. Vietnam.
But personally, I care more about space
Do you?
than Vietnam.
Personally, in Vietnam.
Personally, I care much more about space than Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Did you know that if you signed up to work on a lake freighter, you could avoid getting drafted for the Vietnam War?
I didn't know that. Did you know that Dick Cheney's child was born exactly 9 months after he was registered for the draft? And you could get an exemption as a parent?
Wow. I mean, I guess good for him for, like, shooting and scoring.
Well, his heart wouldn't take it.
When it really mattered.
Busting ropes to avoid Vietnam,
I mean...
Speaking of blowing ropes, have you ever been wandering through a pleasant field of flowers and had them just fucking... come in your face? Because that's what happens in this next episode.
Yep. Upsettingly.
Just getting cum blasted by
flowers. Honk.
Honk.
Honk, honk.
So this side of paradise is apparently when you get violated by flower.
That's what Scott Fitzgerald wrote about.
Yeah. That's actually the hidden meaning of that book.
This side of paradise. The other side is great.
This side, not so much.
It's when you get,
It's supposed to be good for your skin, though. So. But that's just what the flowers tell you.
Yeah. So
they have an ulterior motive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this side of paradise, this is production number 25.
Yep.
So we're jumping around again. Originally aired on March 2nd of 1967. Shall we turn to the New York Times this time so we're actually doing it in proper order here?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see what we got for March 2nd of 1967. Maybe there'll be space news, probably.
Probably not. Probably more China.
Yeah, it's a lot more Cold War news. Vietnam news. Atomic power in the state of New York. So there's an $8 billion plan for atomic power, which is a shit ton of money back then. I don't know what this is referring to. Oh, Hoffa's ordered to prison today. Jimmy Hoffa. This is before he ended up in that life or wherever concrete pillar he's entombed in. What?
Concrete pillar. I want to be entombed in a concrete.
All you have to do is get in too deep with the mob. But yeah, it's a lot of Vietnam news and Soviet news here. So
boring.
Yeah, I mean nothing like super crazy, I guess. Hanoi says there's no possibility of peace talks at present. So that's kind of turned around since our last week's
article.
Yeah. But the Senate pledges Johnson's support in limiting the war. So they're trying to actually limit activity in Vietnam. I don't know what our troop count was at this point, but so yeah. Vietnam news. No flower cum news. Surprisingly enough. This one's by DC Fontana, District of Columbia Fontana.
District of Columbia Fontana.
Although she actually rescued this script kind of from someone else.
Okay.
So originally, my understanding is Sulu was going to be the focus rather than Spock.
Interesting.
And I think she is correct that it's more interesting with Spock than Sulu. Even though a Sulu episode would be great, it makes more sense to have Spock be the one who's emotionally compromised. Yeah.
Yes.
By flower come.
I'm keeping a tally of how many times I do that.
Every time they do, I'll give $1.
But he has to give $1 to charity every time he says flower come.
So shall I read the little blurb?
Read.
Okay, so this is Stardate 3417.3. The Enterprise arrives at the planet Omicron Ceti 3, the site of a colony established in 2264. Unfortunately, so this is 4 years later.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the Enterprise's mission is only to catalog its destruction under the bombardment of deadly Berthold rays, which were discovered after the colonists left Earth.
Yes.
Captain Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Sulu, DeSalle, and Kelowitz, who are like the extra guys, beam down to the planet's surface and discover to their surprise that Elias Sandoval and the other colonists are not dead after all.
It's true.
So they're excited to see the others too. They haven't seen anybody since they left Earth. Their radio has malfunctioned. They didn't have anybody smart enough to fix it. We dumb. And basically Kirk's like, we didn't come here because the radio was out. We came here because we were pretty sure y'all were fucking cooked.
Dead.
Yeah, you were all cooked and we were here to just, I guess, see your
count
corpses.
your bones.
I do love that there's a moment where Kirk's like, I forget what exactly he says about that, like they shouldn't be alive, basically. And Sulu's like, well, are we sure they are? I'm like, Sulu's caught up to what happens on the show.
Like, maybe they're ghosts.
Maybe they're ghosts. And McCoy's like, no, they're actually, blah, blah. The other sort of plot here, which becomes central, it doesn't seem to be at first, but does, is that Spock encounters Layla, who's a botanist who he's met on Earth 6 years before. So we have the kind of similar plot point of like past romance, although it's not really a romance because she wants him.
Yes.
He does not because he's a he's been unable to return her love, as this synopsis says.
So sad.
They discover there's no like animal life, it's just plants, which they think is kind of weird. They go around and like check things out, and then and also Layla wants Spock to stay there. She's thirsty.
She is so thirsty.
McCoy finds out everybody's like suspiciously healthy.
Yep.
Even to the point where like ailments from childhood have healed themselves, so that's us. And there's a very long synopsis.
Okay.
I'm just trying to hit all the main points. Kirk basically approaches Sandoval and asks him, like, basically, how are you alive and the animals all died? And Sandoval dodges the question. He refuses to leave because at this point, they're like, you have to leave. Like, you shouldn't be alive at all. We don't know why you're alive.
But there's these deadly rays and you got to get out of here.
Deadly rays. And this is where we discover basically what is allowing them to be alive around this time, because Layla takes Spock out on this little love jaunt.
Yes.
Towards this flower.
Yes.
She says she was one of the first people that found them. And then Spock is like just totally blasted with flower.
He absolutely
like,
gets it right in the face.
And this like causes him to like break down, and like his emotional human side comes out.
Yes.
And then he confesses his love for her.
Yes. His emotional human side is so annoying. So horny.
I mean, can you blame the guy?
It's Layla.
Oh. We're going to get us in trouble with copyright.
It's only 8 seconds. So
they're super litigious.
You can cut it. Put it back version anyway.
I mean, there's definitely a Layla pun for the title of this episode.
Why always live?
What do you want, Spot?
Does Eric?
No, it's Derek and the Dominoes. That's why.
But Eric.
Here you go.
A very famous.
Famously written about George Harrison's wife.
Yes, I did know that.
Yeah, they were all fucking around.
I only knew the Eric Clapton version, actually.
Well, that is the Eric Clapton version. He was just in a band called Derek.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. For like 1 album, I think.
How fun.
Yeah.
What did he go on to do?
What do you mean? Well, he was a solo artist for most of his career.
Okay.
He was in some like bigger, like he was in Blind Faith,
Okay.
which is like a super, like you had all the super groups in the
Just like,
'60s where they got together. And,
Yeah,
he was in
okay.
Cream before this,
Gross.
which
But
is well,
feels pertinent to this episode.
yeah, Flower Cream.
I think they named her Layla.
Wait, what year did
I
the
don't know.
song?
This year the song came out.
Maybe.
Layla is one of those songs that I know and like I can hear it in my head, but if you asked me to sing it, I would have no idea.
It's
what
mostly
I was
music.
doing.
I mean, there is the lyrics, but
there are lyrics.
a lot of it is instrumental. Yeah.
But like even like I just like I hear it so clearly, but I cannot articulate it at all.
Have you seen Goodfellas?
Have I seen it?
Yeah.
You know I've never seen it. I don't know.
Sometimes you have. Okay. Well, there's a very famous scene that uses the music.
You've never seen. You know I never see any movies.
That's not true. We went to All the President's Men.
We did, but now I haven't seen that movie.
No, that's true.
Until a week ago. Anyway.
So then you would have no frame of reference for who Jill Ireland is. Then.
Who?
The woman who played.
No frame. Who? What was she in?
A lot of movies. Famously married to Charles Bronson.
Okay.
And Charles Bronson, famously a huge wife guy, like big time wife guy.
Wife guy?
Yeah, like he was big on his wife.
Okay.
In like a way that's maybe a little too intense.
Okay.
But she used to get like producer credits on all of his movies because
Great.
he's just like, I think my wife Jill should be a producer on this.
Cool.
But he's famously in the Death Wish movies, which are these like vigilante movies where like horrible things happen to all of his family, and then like he goes out and kills criminals.
Yeah.
And she was in some of them, and like she's like the only person who's like emerges unscathed from any of these movies because like he's like, no one can hurt my wife. Yeah.
Classic.
But yeah, so I don't know how big she was at this point, but I mean, I don't know if she was ever huge, but like she had a film career.
Okay.
So I think this is right before she got married to him. But
what movies was she in?
What movies was Jill Ireland in?
Yeah. Wait, Jill Ireland. That name is.
She's in a lot of British movies.
I also can Google things.
I love that the Google, I guess Gemini thing is like British American actress best known for her appearance as Layla, the only woman Mr. Spock ever loved. She was in a lot of TV shows, Man from U.N.C.L.E., but yeah, movie wise, I mean, maybe not anything like super good, but she was in a lot of movies. The Karate Killers.
Let me see.
Violent City, Cold Sweat, Someone Behind the Door, The Valachi Papers, which is I think that is a Charles Bronson movie. The Mechanic, which is a Charles Bronson movie. Chino, which is a Charles Bronson movie. So really, she had a lot of Charles Bronson. Yeah, like all these are Bronson movies. Like good for her. Honestly, good for her.
I need to marry a famous man. We'll just put.
Do you really want to marry Charles Bronson? Then?
I said a famous man. It doesn't have to be Charles Bronson.
Who would you marry if it was a famous man?
Who would I marry?
Yeah, like
a famous
like
man
be in movies. Yeah.
Put me in movies.
Yeah.
Gosh, who's like producing a lot?
Harvey Weinstein.
Not anymore.
He's so sick though. You should let him out of jail or whatever it was he said.
This man is very sick. Yeah, he is.
My science past producer friend is very sick.
Incredibly sick. Keep him in prison.
Keep him in jail, yeah, for sure. Yeah, like all of her late movie credits are all Charles Bronson movies. It's fucking incredible. Good for her.
I would marry. I don't know enough.
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess right now, if you want like producer, I don't know. Everybody in Hollywood kind of sucks now.
I assume that kind of like anybody who's in a movie is probably footing the bill, unless they're like a breakout, because that's sort of how film and television works now, right? Like.
Well, you're too old for Leonardo DiCaprio, so that's
too old for Leonardo DiCaprio. George Clooney, I think, is producing things, but he's like married to.
Oh well, this is a purely hypothetical, so I guess.
Fine, purely hypothetical. Be George Clooney. Yeah. If I just want to marry somebody, put me in something.
Put me in some film.
Put me in a film. I don't even care if we're in love. Who would you marry to put you?
I don't know who's doing producing like women wise. Or I guess if we're just saying being married to a famous person in Hollywood. Because like Charles Bronson wasn't producing movies, just in them.
But he got her
He got her credit, yeah.
So you have to have enough clout, right?
Yeah. Jessica Chastain.
Not Christina Hendricks.
mean.
You guys are learning a lot about Aaron's taste in women this evening,
Yeah,
and honestly, at this point, you're probably just like, "Is it any living, breathing woman?"
That's not true.
Sorry, beautiful blondes, brunettes, and redheads.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not picky.
Meanwhile, mine is George Clooney.
Yeah, basic.
Basic.
No.
It is, but I'm
well, it's not as basic as it could be. You could have like Glenn Powell.
Yeah,
No.
I could have said any hot young thing.
You could have been Paul. You could have said Paul Dano, and then Quentin Tarantino would have got really mad at you.
Yeah, that's
weirdest beef ever.
That's what I want. Quentin Tarantino would be really mad at me because I'm definitely notorious enough to be on Quentin Tarantino's radar.
Paul Dano is.
Yeah, Paul Dano's in movies.
I know. But he just shit on him for no. Anyway, we're getting
his name is out there in the world. Anyway, Layla.
Yeah,
is
so
Jill
she's
who is married to Charles Bronson.
Right, so she's kind of a big deal. Anyway, right. So she wants Spock. The flowers enable her to have him. I think there is a way in which this episode is kind of sad in that Spock is able to emote and acknowledge this half of himself that he suppresses constantly.
Yes.
And I think this is where the DC Fontana rewrites are the most significant, is with this arc specifically.
Sure.
Because she's been on record that Spock was the most interesting character.
I agree.
Yeah, she felt in the series. And so she, wrote this episode with him in mind very directly. And I think there is something kind of sad about it because, the end, I know we're jumping around, but his last line, right, is, "I was happy for the first time." And it is sad.
It's really sad.
But on the other side of it, you're right, he's kind of a lot when he's too emotive.
He's absolutely useless. Well, but here's the problem. And here's why it's more interesting with Spock than with Sulu.
Yeah.
Is because Spock is constantly repressing his human emotive side.
And his sexuality.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yes. Yeah. And so when he gets to express that, he's then completely
off the rails.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no balance, right? Spock, you can't balance with these flower things anyway, right? Everyone is
waxy.
Everyone, no one is in a
no, everyone's
state,
nuts.
right?
Bones turns into a country gentleman.
She's a Georgia,
yeah,
Savannah.
You never had a peach cobbler, Jim? What the fuck?
Where is this coming from?
I want a mint julep.
Yeah, he just starts talking about mint juleps. But anyway, so
Frankly,
Spock,
my dear, I don't give a damn.
Spock just swings way too far the other way. And if you could figure out a way to balance these, Spock would be very great.
Yeah. I think that's the ultimate takeaway, right? Is that's
he can't.
The ideal,
right? But he can't. For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Did we ever find out why he has just decided to be full Vulcan?
Yeah, it gradually comes out. It's a long arc.
Okay.
With this character, so I don't want to say anything.
It's okay. You don't have to spoil. Hey,
but
yeah. This is the point of this show.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can say yes.
I will say the movies for sure explore it.
Okay.
And there's stuff later on. And it comes up again in this series too.
Okay.
And a couple more instances, but I think the movies probably do it more so than. Yeah.
I just wish that Spock's moment of getting to have this sexual awakening weren't wasted on this woman.
Yeah, she kind of sucks.
She sucks. She entraps him. I'm sorry. She entraps him. She's oh.
Well, there is supposed to be an angle of menace to this, right?
Yeah, it's incredibly menacing.
Which I understand why. Because, anytime you put people in, an idyllic setting from the outside,
yeah, we've got
it has to be there has to be something creepy behind it.
We got another cult, folks.
Yeah. We can skip to sort of just talking about the episode, the themes of the episode in general. Because this is another one that I think is revealing of the show's overall kind of cultural critique. So obviously, this one is very directly targeting hippie culture and the counterculture, and specifically drug culture.
Yes.
Which often is conflated more broadly with sort of anti-war, civil rights, but these are distinct political.
different
Like
things.
the new left is very different from the hippies.
Yes.
And I think that's what this episode is ultimately critiquing, right? Is like the hippies are these do-nothings who just drop out from like everything, right? Like they don't engage. Yeah, they don't.
The people on this planet have done.
Yeah, they just isolate themselves and do the bare minimum to get by that they need to get by, and they absent themselves from like real challenges and real questions, and there's no growth, right? The whole critique in this episode is like they're just stagnant. They just sit around and farm their crops and
plant
and just sort of like exist in they're lotus eaters, right? Like that's the other like the classic analog is lotus eaters, but it's being brought forward to like the hippies who are often popularly referred to as lotus eaters because it's the same thing. It's like, well, we'll just sit around and smoke hash. And
can you explain lotus eaters to people who don't have backgrounds
Greek myth? Yeah. So it's just this idea that is it from the Odyssey? I'm trying to remember. Yeah. So it's one of the many stops in Odysseus' journey. His crew lands on this island of lotus eaters, and they just exist in this state of bliss, blissful like ignorance, right? Like they're just stoned out of their minds, basically on this, and they don't really have any concerns. They just sort of float around, and his crew gradually succumbs to this too, and he's trying to get them to go back to the ship because like he wants to get home. And he knows they should also leave. Like they can't stay here because it's a false paradise. Like you don't want to live in this like forgetful bliss forever because you're not really a person anymore. You're just sort of a husk.
This is basically 100%.
Yes, it's 100% that. Right, but I think it's also engaging with like LSD and like that counterculture stuff. Because the show is broadly sympathetic, I think, to like the new left.
100%.
Of like the anti-war and civil rights, and like it's very much in touch with that, and even feminism to a certain extent.
100%.
But yeah, very critical of like the hippie movement, which you've kind of seen with like I think it was Dagger the Mind. Is that the one with the like drug? We talked about the cult too. Is that the one? He goes to the planet and. Remember they have like the symbol on their uniforms that look kind of like a cult. We talked a little bit about it. Yeah, like the people are kind of wandering around like drugged. Yeah. So we've had this come up before.
Yes.
This is maybe the most explicit though, with like basically like a commune.
Yes.
Like, they're just kind of hanging out. It's a little Blithedale Romance actually. If you're familiar with the Hawthorne about like the utopian community, because that was a thing in the U.S. in the 1840s and 50s. It's like utopian farm.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Kind of like proto hippie without the drugs, basically. But that's 100% what's going on here, though. It's just this like, commentary on like hippie culture and how shallow it is, and we've talked about the shows like utopian impulses, right? But there's a difference between utopian and creating a false utopia for yourself, right? Like. The idea is that we're never perfect. We should always be striving for something. And these people have just like stopped.
Right. I guess there's I wouldn't say like, oh, there's a difference between utopia and false utopia. Duh, there is. There's just a different like this. The creators of the show, the writers of the show, for them, utopia is not just like blissed out, like disengagement. Right. For them, utopia is everyone in their place doing their job. Like.
To each
working
according
to
his means.
Right, exactly, right? Like, it is much more like a Thomas More utopia, right, than...
Yeah, and when we get to Next Generation, we'll see it very explicitly.
Right, then I guess just sort of a... I can't think of a good example, but...
Yeah, I don't know, but...
Right. I mean, like, Thomas More utopia is basically every person is given the means that they need to succeed to, like, make society...
better. Everybody contributes.
Better.
Yeah, to the progress of society and also, like, human evolution.
Correct. Because we see, like, like, once... When you're just, like, living in a state of, like, quote-unquote bliss all the time... There is no progress.
No.
Right? These people have been here 4 years and they're living in, like, cabins and they're just... farming, and like we know from watching Star Trek that they're in a very advanced society. They shouldn't necessarily be like living like this at this point. And yet they are, because they're just like, oh, well, we're happy and we're living and we're growing our vegetables, but we know that the group that was dropped here was very smart.
Right.
So,
But what's interesting is they're not even like procreating.
no.
Like they're literally just stagnant. She wants
only
to,
has the
but
hots for
yeah,
Spock.
but they're not, because they grow just the right amount of crops to sustain their current pop. Like we're explicitly told that by one of the extras, and that becomes one of the critiques, right? But like they're too blissed out and also too afraid to like upset the status quo that they apparently don't even procreate.
Well, they also don't know how this plant comes in to work on a baby. So
that's gross.
You don't want to,
what a baptism.
You don't want to expose a baby to anything that could be harmful.
That's true.
So then the thing, I was sort of fed up with like another cult episode, but in spite of myself, like, or in spite of that, I really did like this episode because like I enjoyed.
Well, it's great to have Spock get like.
It's great to have Spock get the spotlight, and like, yes, like you said, it was sad and frustrating. It was a little menacing
and homoerotic.
Very homoerotic,
which we can talk about.
And like, I loved, as a person who was frequently angry, I loved that Kirk was so pissed off that these plants wouldn't work on him. Because he finds out that, like, that's why, that's, like, how the plants work. It's, like, you have to be in, like, a calm state of mind for this sort of, like, euphoria to
you have a bad trip.
Take you over. Right, or you'll have a really bad trip.
It's straight up like LSD.
So like he cannot be affected by these plants until everyone on the Enterprise has beamed down, and he's finally just like resigned to the fact that like it's just me up here, and then he gets blasted in the face by all these plants that comes out of nowhere. and then he gets blissed out, but at that point he's kind of figured it out, and like
too much negative emotions.
Yes.
Destroyed this.
Yes. So he realizes like what he has to do to get Spock, and then Bones, and then they don't really talk about how they make anyone else.
They use that like weird sonic.
Oh, that's right. He uses a sonic thing that like disrupts their.
Yeah, because then like Sulu and the guy have a shovel fight.
Yep.
There's a lot of guys rolling around on the ground.
Yes.
At this point. Yeah. I don't know. I did appreciate the Kirk Spock relationship throughout this episode, where it's very much like when your best friend gets his first girlfriend and you're like kind of upset that he's hanging out with her so much.
Yeah.
Like that is what's happening throughout most of this episode, with Kirk being like, why is my best friend hanging out so much with Jill Ireland? A valid question. When
She's not even that pretty.
A little butt chin.
Just so butt chin.
But so there's that angle too, which I find interesting as well. Like, because it's a little homoerotic between him and Spock. Like, there's literally a pipe fight.
I was gonna say fight.
Yeah, I mean, like.
But then also, because I do agree with you, but also, right? Like, I think we see how much. Like we know, right? Kirk needs Spock, but I think we see just how much Kirk needs Spock to like be like the left side of his brain.
He needs help figuring out this mystery. He's fed up with
because like Kirk too. I mean, he gets emotional, but like we also have kind of learned, right, that he sort of tries to like.
It's within a set of limits, right?
Right, keep a level head,
in a very specific way. Yeah.
But he also like can't function without his counselor. Right. Which is sort of the part of, right, I think
well, we've seen the flip side with Spock, too, right? Like, he can't function in certain ways.
And I think this is, like, the kind of commentary on leadership that the show is making, right? Is, like, you can't lead on your own, right? You need a whole sort of, like, bevy of people supporting you. And
you need a mint julep, Jim.
You need a mint julep, Jim. And acting as experts in the areas where you're not, and without Spock, Kirk can't function as a captain. So it's almost like a good thing that all these people like were just like, oh, fuck this, we're gonna go get high. Because who knows if Kirk could have managed it without Spock.
It's true.
But yes, back to their pipe fight.
Oh my god, the pipe fight. So Right, Kirk figures out that intense negative emotions, or I guess intense anger specifically, makes these spores
obsolete.
They like die, I guess, or their effect wears off. It's not clear how like sentient these things are. So he like basically goads Spock into a fight, but he has a pipe for some reason to fight him.
Because Spock's really strong.
I know, but I mean, it's just very funny that it's a pipe. Like, okay, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, but
sometimes a pipe is a
penis. Yeah.
They both start with P.
They both start with P.
Yeah, his boyfriend, he's mad his boyfriend has a girlfriend.
I mean, there is that angle. Like, I mean, you could see it as homosocial or homo. Either way, I think it works. But yeah, there's this sense, right, that like he's upset that Spock's replaced him with this woman.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Like you said, we've all been there. Your best friend gets a partner.
Especially if it's the first. It's always the first like significant person.
And you're mad.
Yeah, because you're like, well, now we don't hang out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And which seems like it wouldn't be a problem on a planet full of people who are too blissed out to apparently have sex, but
yeah, I guess I'm curious because like that is like interesting. I didn't really think about that. They aren't like having like babies.
Right.
But then how come Spock is super horny? Like how come is it just because he's like repressed this for so long that like the spores can't not even the spores can contain
that's a good question.
To procreate with Layla?
Right, because she's horny too, but not to the same extent.
Well, and especially because it definitely seems like she is, like you said, there's some nefarious vibes, right? Even when she's like telling him how much she loved him, it just feels like a little.
We've all been there.
Like I said, it just feels a little like entrapment. Like she's just like saying these things to like get what she wants out of him.
It was giving me.
It doesn't feel sincere.
Out? I think it was later. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, 1971, The Beguiled, which is that Clint Eastwood movie where he's like a Union soldier who's injured and like he ends up in this house his wounds being nursed by like these Southern women.
Yes.
And they're like, there's like something very creepy and upsetting about it. Like this gave a little bit of that. It's not quite as like insane, but like her vibe was a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she's sincere.
Right, and I don't
know if that's bad acting or if it's good acting.
Right.
She's like trying to like show that there's some like layers to her feelings for Spock. I'm not really sure, but I felt I felt bad for Spock because
not because of her and their relationship.
No, but because it feels like she like. Sort of, I mean, she does, right? She gets him under false pretense. But then she
gets him fucking blasted.
And because she doesn't seem as affected by the flowers. No one seems quite as affected by the flowers as Spock and Bones.
Which, in very different ways, but yeah. Right, I don't know if maybe it's like, because I guess like Sulu isn't. I was gonna say like maybe it's just when you're first hit by it, you're worse than.
Yeah, I don't know. But
right, she does seem to want to ensnare him in a way that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because at the very beginning, before he's even sprayed, she tells Sandoval like he's staying here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She knows what she's up to.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a comment on just like the pleasure seeking side of this, where like everything is subsumed to your sense of satisfaction.
Maybe.
Right? Like that this is just part of her like being satisfied in this world is that she has Spock now.
I guess so.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that makes it any less creepy. It's just like maybe that's the kind of justification for this is that like. Because, the whole episode is about these people who think they've created paradise for themselves where all their needs are met.
Right.
And, like, apparently her need is to get...
Rail Spock. Yikes.
Look, we all have needs.
So that's true. I can't judge a lady.
No, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me because like the rest of it doesn't mesh with like a malevolent angle, I guess.
I guess so.
Like they're just kind of like,
Yeah, I guess so.
because like even though like spores aren't malevolent, like the relationship between the spores and the people is fairly
I mean, the
symbiotic.
spores are
It
just
seems
doing
like.
what spores are
Right,
do.
it's like
they're
they're
tuning
not-
in people's.
yeah. Again, this isn't like Return of the Archons where there's like a malevolent force controlling everyone.
Right, which makes it the cult, which makes the
Yeah.
cult vibes very
Yeah,
different,
it's-
right? Like
it's like trouble.
like you said, it's not so culty as it is just like hippie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, they just like dropped out of society and
Right,
got
like-
high on these flower
There
cones.
is but like there is something sort of nefarious about them, but they're harmless at the same
Mhm.
time. Like they're not. They really. The reason I think they seem nefarious is just mostly because they're like, well, we don't want anything disrupting our way of life here, so
it's just like off-putting.
we're gonna
Yeah.
like make like here smoke this like
Yeah.
whatever
flower
so that
cone.
you don't bother us anymore because now you're one of us kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, poor Spock at the end. I mean, first of all, he I guess is happy.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem it.
What? Wait, during the time
Again,
he's spored out, or
When he's spored out, he doesn't. I mean, he does, but I don't know.
well, he's let his inhibitions go. I think is the thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think this is the first suggestion we have of just how much he represses his human side.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's the tragedy of this. Not necessarily that he was like happy hanging out with Jill Ireland.
Yeah.
Specifically.
It's more that he was just like happy to like not be
Yeah, repressing.
Yeah,
I think that's the
repressing is
issue.
really bad.
Yeah.
Not only is he repressing his human side, he might also be repressing some feelings for Kirk.
I mean, that seems to be the case.
But
That's for another episode, maybe.
or episodes.
Can I interest you in a mint julep, Jim?
Yeah. Have y'all ever had a mint julep? Because I'm from Savannah, Georgia. And they don't drink mint juleps here because they drink those in Kentucky.
Yeah, I know he's all over.
I don't know where he's supposed to be from.
That's such a wild choice.
I'm in the Beguile now.
These nice young Confederate ladies won't let me leave their plantation.
Except for Robert Redford was a Union soldier. He would have been talking
Clint
like...
Eastwood.
Sorry, Clint Eastwood was... We just watched All the President's Men, as previously stated, and also 95% of the time I'm probably thinking about Robert Redford.
That's true. You do seem to be. He might be your Spock. If you were the Layla character.
Yeah, but I don't think I did trap him.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Are you sure about
Yeah.
that? Are you sure about
I'm not
that?
that cunning. I'm just not smart enough.
Oh, okay. Well, what if you had flowers to help you?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm a married woman.
Yeah. No beguiled for you.
Anyway, Clint Eastwood
Yeah.
is a Union soldier, so he would have been, I don't know.
Jim, I just got off the river boat.
Oh, don't you know, these ladies have got me in their house here and they won't let me
Is
leave.
he Canadian?
From Minnesota? I don't know. Union? Is Minnesota part of the Union?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know when they became a state.
Yeah, no, they were. They were
Okay.
pretty.
I figured they would have been part of the Union
Yeah.
just based on
I mean, I don't remember if they were a
I
territory
don't
or
know
a
if they
state,
were
but
state,
they were
yeah.
part of the Union. Yeah. You're part of the Union.
Anyway, I can't do a New York accent for that. I can't sustain a New York accent for that long, so it's always gonna be Minnesota. Anyway, it's I guess the one thing that like about this episode, I was kind of like, oh, like another cult episode. It does sort of like, can we think of another way to try to address these like social issues? Because both Joe and I, while we were watching it, were immediately like, oh, these are hippies.
Yeah.
Right? Like we knew exactly what
Well,
they
then
were
it
doing.
works.
So it's working, but it's also like, I personally was like, but we have another episode where they're going down to a planet and that's essentially a cult.
Yeah. Well, it was in the air.
Pardon?
It was in the air at the time. the cult stuff.
And the spores.
The flower cone.
I realize that.
Yeah. No, I know.
But
I get what you're saying.
That would have been like, if I had to think of a, quibble with the episode, I think it was like, is there another way to deliver this message that feels less like every other cult sort of episode we've gotten, and or separate it from, the Archons was only three episodes ago, so separate it from that episode a little bit. So maybe,
I guess that one's less a cult though. Police state.
We talked about cults,
I know.
Though, when we watched it.
So it does have the cult vibe.
Yeah, don't back off on that now.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, police state, but also like all the people in that episode were like pretty culty. It's not like when they were doing their like walking around chatting with people, they were like, oh, we can't talk about it. It's blah blah blah. Like they were
mint julep.
For all intents and purposes, pretty happy, but
true. Wouldn't you be happy if you lived in like Frontier Town?
Probably,
yeah.
Seems like a simpler time.
Oh, the Red Hour seems scary though.
Yeah, the Red Hour seems really scary. Yeah. I've just locked my doors. As we've said, we talked about this. Just lock your doors.
Yeah. I do think that like we had a Red Hour as a culture whenever the pandemic restrictions lifted. That was like a Red Hour for a little while.
Yeah.
That's my personal.
Less scary. But yeah, I liked this episode. I just like I said, if I had to come up with sort of one thing that sort of put me off was just, could there have been another way to explore this idea? Maybe not, but
maybe not.
I don't know. I'm not there.
We're almost at the end of the season.
I'm not writing this show, so.
We got Rock Monster next with Devil in the Dark.
Yay, my Rock Monster.
And Errand of Mercy, both by Gene Alcoon.
I feel so different about Rock Monster than I did about the almost Armageddon or whatever. The
Taste of
Taste of Armageddon. I can't wait to talk about the Rock Monster.
Well, don't
I
say
can't
too
wait.
much. Yeah, okay.
There's a Rock Monster, and I can't wait to talk about it.
I have a funny Rock Monster story about the Rock Monster.
Rock Monster!
And then Errand of Mercy, which we watched. Okay.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Okay, that's a significant one for the lore. So.
Okay, well, I will make sure that my little...
And so we only have 5 episodes left in this first series.
Wowee.
Or first season. Yeah.
Wowee. Aaron's British. He calls it a series. Sorry. Everybody be impressed.
Well, no, I was thinking about Doctor Who because there is Edge of Armageddon, which is a old Doctor Who episode. So I kept flipping it.
Be impressed.
I'm Jill Ireland.
Aaron's British now. The rest of the episode
Shall we rate these
episodes? Going to sound like this.
Shall we rate this episode?
No. I shan't.
You shan't?
Unless I can talk in my British accent.
You want to. Okay. So, Taste of Armageddon, Tribbles.
Just anybody listening, please feel free to hire me to do voice acting. I'm very good at funny voices. I'll showcase more.
Oh!
In future episodes.
Do you do a Rock Monster impression?
I will save it for next episode, Aaron. You told me not to spoil too much.
No, I didn't want you to say too much. You gotta save this content.
Anyway, we're gonna rate the episodes.
Yeah, go ahead. Taste of Armageddon.
4.5.
Okay. I'll give it 6.
Wow.
On strength of concept.
Making me look
on
bad.
Strength of concept.
I'm giving it 4.5 on a strength of concept because nothing else about the episode interested me.
Well, that and the drape.
Oh gosh, Aaron's giving it 2 points on the drape alone.
3 points.
Damn, he'd have given it a 3, folks.
I'm as thirsty as Layla. What can I say?
We want one of those calm plants for Drape Woman. Put that on a t-shirt.
Seems a little too much like roofing somebody to like be like, look at this flower.
That's what this is.
Look at this flower I found. I know she knows exactly what it is. Because she's the first.
Doesn't, and she's like, here. Have this.
I'm not disagreeing. Ladies can do stuff.
But I'm assuming it was just baby powder.
I think so, or some sort of.
In your face. Anyway,
This side of
4.5.
paradise. This side of paradise.
6.5.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6. Yeah.
6.5 because I feel bad for Spock.
Okay. I'll give it a 6 as well. All right. Well, then next time we'll be talking Devils in the Dark and Errand of Mercy. Until then, beam me up.